Mantra Sattva Samaya Manu Palaya Mantra Sattva Denu Pai Didra Dejo Memba Soto Kaya Memba Vai Subu Kaya Memba Anurado Memba Vai Sarva Sede Me Praya Sarva Krama Suza Me Zedam Shreya Kuru Ha 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 Bhagavan Saravata Tangata Bandrama Mimsa Baranzimba Mahasamaya Satwa.
Now, page 1 of the opening and dedication text. Page 1. Dala thangwa jebe tra nobar jebe gek tarpa dan tamche kempe bardu chopra jeba tam jegi se jebe ma nanga dan nyampe Senjen tamje dewa tan ten tunga tante nidu lana me pa yang da pra zobe janju rinpo je topra ja dala dongwa jebe da nobar jebe gek Tarba dan tamje kembe baridu chopra jeba tam jegi su jebe ma nanga dang nyampe senjen tamje dewa tan de Tunga dante nidu lana me pa yang da para zobe chanchu rinpo je to para ja dhala dhangwa jebe da nopa jebe ge tarpa dang tamche kembe pardu chopra jeba tam jegi su jebe ma nangka dang Yampe senjen tamche dewa dan ten tunga dan de nudu lana mepa yang da para sobe chanchu rinpo je to para cha dhala dhamma jebe da no para jebe gek tarpa dang tamche kempe pardu chopara jeba tam jege su jebe ma Nangha dang nyampe senjem tamche dewa dang den Tungao dang dre nudu lana me pa yang Dabara sope chanchu rinpo che topara cha de je du Sang ma ge ge bardu lunga isum ke wala ko ma shi bardu lunga isum ke wala ko du dereng ne sung te ne ma sang ta sam ke bardu lunga isum ke wala ko. Now to page 5. Taking refuge in the three jewels. Zangke Chodang Soke Chonam La Changchu Bardu Dagni Kyapsu Che Dagi Jinsu Kibe Sonangke Rola Penchir Sangye Drupara Shu Sangye Chodang Soke Chonam La Changchu Bardu Dagni Kyapsu Che Dagi Jinsu Kibe Sonangke Drola penchir sangye dhupra sho sangye chodang soke chongnam la chanchu baridu dani kyapsu chi dagi jinsu kipe sonam ki Drola penchir sangye dhupra sho nang ka dang nyam pe sen chen tam je dewa dang dewe gyu dang den par gyur je dung yao dang dung yao gi gyu dang dewa gyur je dung yao me pe dewa dang me dewa gyur je Nirin chada nidang drewe tang nyong la ne pra gyu je ma nang ka dang nyam pe sen chen tam je dewa dang dewe gyun dan den para gyu je dung ngao dang dung ngao gi gyu dan drewa gyu je dung ngao me pe dewa dang me drewa gyu je Nirin chadang nidang dewe tang nyong la ne pra gyu je ma nang ka dang nyam pe sem chen tam je dewa dang dewe gen dan den pra gyu je dung ngao dang dung ngao je gyu dan dewa gyu je dung ngao me pe dewa dang me dewa gyu je Nirin chadang nidang dewe tang nyong la ne pra gyu je. Now page 7. Bhajra samaja bhajra samaja bhajra samaja malu zemjen gungi gungurje dude punje midze jumze la ngonam malu jishin gengurbe Chumden korje nedir shesu so argyam padyam pushpe dupe aloke gende nivede shabda prate jaso ha sashi puju jushing metodam Rera lenje ninde gempa de sanje shingla mikde pulwa ye Drogun namda shindu chopara sho jase wadan chujing shabada Jise yirang kushing sowa ye gewa chungze dagi chisakpa Tamche zobe changche chirngu Now to the main text that we've been working with, the Fivefold Mahamudra text. Again, allow body and mind to settle naturally into their own places, bringing a little bit of a sense of trust, trusting that when you get out of the way, when the judgmental you, the perfectionist you, and all the different types of you, when that you get out of the way, naturally body and mind, and trust that they will settle. So let them settle into their own places. Then there are the more specific instructions on how to settle the body into the 7 postures. The posture of Vairocana with the 7 elements. From the Vajra Garland Tantra, in our text it says, quoting the Vajra Garland Tantra, sit on a comfortable cushion, directing the eyes to the tip of the nose and placing the nose in line with the navel. Shoulders are level, the tongue is joined to the palate, and the teeth and lips are placed at ease. Having relaxed the exhalation and inhalation of breath, little by little, free from effort, your breath exhales and inhales just as it is. Being well seated in this way is to be seated in the way of the Buddhas, in the way of the Bodhisattvas. Then rejoice in the great fortune of having obtained this human existence with its freedoms and advantages, and recognizing impermanence and death and not wasting time, wasting effort in useless things. Instead, we strive towards awakening, towards liberation, trusting in the inevitability of karmic cause and effect, knowing that when we trust in that inevitability, we become more and more in tune with achieving the goals that we have, which is the goal of happiness, by choosing skillful actions of body, speech, and mind, and by choosing to refrain from unskillful actions of body, speech, and mind. Then even if we begin to get some sense of happiness and relief in the midst of all of this, also recognize that as long as we are still under the power of confusion, which give rise to the other two poisons of attachment and aversion, and which then together give rise to the 84,000 kleshas, as long as we are still under the power of the kleshas and therefore wandering in samsara, there's no place in samsara that is without any shortcomings or faults. Recognizing that, we make a determination to be free. To be free not only for ourselves, but to be completely free so that we can also lead others to this state of freedom, thus giving rise to bodhicitta. With bodhicitta as motivation, we take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. With bodhicitta as motivation, furthermore, we cultivate the meditation and recitation of Bhagavan Vajrasattva. To do that instantaneously, think that you are your idam, whoever this idam may be. Kyopa Jigten Sumgön says, if you do not yet have a idam, some Buddha figure that you very naturally and easily think of as idam, then you can adopt his idam, he said. And his idam is Chinresi, Avalokiteshvara. Above your head on a full moon disk, a vajra marked with a hung. That vajra instantly transform into Bhagavan Vajrasattva, who is in essence our Guru, with a body, with a form that is white in complexion, white like milk, like the peak of a snow mountain, touched by the rays of the sun. His legs are crossed, with the right leg slightly extended. With his two hands, the right holds a vajra at his heart and the left holds a bell resting on his hip. Guru Vajrasattva is adorned with various jewel ornaments signifying all the Buddha qualities. At his heart center in the middle of a moon disk stands a hung syllable, surrounded by the 100-syllable mantra. From this hung light rays emanate going out to clear the obscurations of sentient beings. Light rays also go out to invoke the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, which in turn send back streams of elixir that dissolve into this home. Then the stream of elixir descends from this home, flowing through the body of Guru Vajrasattva, completely filling Guru Vajrasattva's body from top to bottom, so that the elixir emerges from the tip of Guru Vajrasattva's right big toe, and from there a cascade, a waterfall of elixir comes down to us, washing completely the outside of our bodies, the surface, as well as entering into the insides of our body through the opening at the crown of your head, so that all the collections of misdeeds, obscurations, and transgressions from beginningless samsaric lifetimes are flushed out of the body, like dirt flushed out by water, and they exit from the lower orifices of your body. Completely filling your body with elixir. This elixir swirls upwards. Not only does it push down all the obscurations, negative karma, downwards out of your body, it also swirls upwards, with the elixir emerging from the top of your head. That elixir turns into your Guru. If you're seeing yourself as Avalokiteshvara, then this elixir turns into Amitabha, who is Avalokiteshvara's Guru. If you see yourself as Tara, then the Guru that appears above is Amoga Siddhi, the unfailing Buddha. If you see yourself as Manjushri, the Guru that appears above is Vairocana. If you see yourself as Vajrapani, the Guru that appears above is Akshobhya, and so on and so forth. If you see yourself as Vajrayogini, then Vairocana appears above. If you see yourself as Heruka Chakasambhara, the Guru that appears above again is Akshobhya. But mainly focus on this cascading elixir from your Guru in the form of Bhagavan Vajrasattva. From the right toe of the Guru, a cascade of elixir comes down. Especially if there are some illness, difficulties, physical, mental, emotional. Imagine this, think of this elixir as taking them out of your body. Including any burdens that you carry around, worries, regrets. Lay them aside, lay them aside, lay them aside. rely on the four powers, the power of regret, the power of reliance, in this case, Guru Vajrasattva, who is the essence of all Buddhas of past, present, and future, the embodiment of the 100 peaceful and wrathful deities. The power of remedy, which is this meditation, together with the recitation of the 100-syllable mantra, and the power of resolve to not again and again and again repeat unskillful actions of body, speech, and mind. It is said that negative karma have no redeeming qualities whatsoever except for one. The one quality that negative karma does have is that it can be cleared. It can be removed from the mind, from the heart. It can be cleared. It can only be cleared if you are ready to let it be cleared. You are ready to lay that aside, to put that aside. But if you keep holding it in your heart, keep holding it in your mind, then it will keep being there and occupying space, taking up space, taking up, growing in weight, occupying more space, increasing more weight. And you'll just be burdened, heavier and heavier. Om Bhadra Sattva Samaya Anubalaya Bhadra Sattva Denoba Tishta Dedo Membava Sutto Kayo Membava Supo Kayo Membava Anurato Membava Sarva Siddhi Memprayaja Sarva Kama Sujame Chitam Shreya Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Bhajra Mame Muncha Bhajre Bhava Mahasamaya Sato Om Bhajra Sattva Samayam Anubalaya Bhajra Sattva Tenopa Tishta Dedo Membava Sutto Kayo Membava Supo Kayo Membava Anurato Membava Sarva Siddhi Memprayacha Sarva Karma Sujame Chitam Shreya Guru Aho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Bhajra Mame Muncha Bhajre Bhava Mahasamaya Sato Om Bhajra Sattva Samayam Anubalaya Bhajra Sattva Denoba Tishta Dedo Membava Sutto Kayo Membava Supo Kayo Membava Anurato Membava Sarva Siddhi Memprayacha Sarva Karma Sujame Chitam Shreya Guru Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Bhajra Mame Muncha Bhajre Bhava Mahasamaya Sato Om Bhajra Sato Samaya Manubalaya Bhajra Sato Teno Pandita Dida Meva Sudokaya Subokaya Memohan Chidam Sreyam Guru Hong Ha Bhajra Sato Samaya Manubalaya Bhajra Sato Teno Pandita Dida Meva Sudokaya Meva Subokaya Memohan Bhajra Sattva Samaya Manubalaya Bhajra Tatena Padita Tena Sudokaya Bhajra Sattva Samaya Manubalaya Bhajra Tatena Padita Tena Sudokaya Chiram Jiram Guru Samaya Sato Om Bhajra Sattva Samaya Manubalaya Bhajra Tatena Padita Tena Sudokaya Subokaya Chamsiang Guru Bhajre Bhava Mahasamaya Sato Om Bhajra Sato Samaya Manubalaya Bhajra Sada Samaya Manubala Yamazana Tenopati Sudogama Supogam Chidam Srayanguru Hong Ha Magaman Samadana Bhajra Sada Samaya Manubala Yamazana Tenopati Dedo Memo Sutokayo Memo Supokayo Memo Sarva Siddhi Membaya Savakama Suchame Chitam Shrayakuru Hong Ha Magaman Samadana Bajra mame mucha bajri baba maha samaya sato. Think that now your form is still in the form of the idam, but like a crystal vase, and the insides are completely cleared of everything, except that it's filled with elixir. So like a crystal vase filled with milk. Now with palms together, we pray with the words on page 8, at the top of page 8. I am ignorant and bewildered. I have transgressed and broken my samayas. O Guru Protector, grant me refuge. Now think that the Bhagavan grants his assent. You should then have faith that he responds with, child of the family, your broken samayas, negativities, and obscurations are cleared. Finally, Bhagavan Vajrasattva, our Guru, dissolves into each of us, becoming inseparable from your body, speech, and mind. You then rest in meditative equipoise on the meaning of this union of appearance and emptiness. And you can now, if you want, you can now also visualize or imagine yourself when the Guru dissolves into you, that you are now transformed into the form of Bhagavan Vajrasattva. Clearly appearing and yet empty in essence. Although empty in essence, also clearly appearing. Without any faults, without any shortcomings. With a clean, clear, and pristine appearance. Next on page 9 is the mandala offering part. So there are, if possible, you should have 2 mandala bases. If not, then 1 is sufficient. Of course, if even 1 is not available right now, and then when it's time to do the mandala offering, there is the mudra of mandala offering. This mudra of mandala offering, if you don't know how, I think if you Google, you'll find and you'll see. So this mudra of mandala offering, the 2 ring fingers upright represent Mount Meru, the central cosmic mountain. Then the fingers all interlaced, thumb with pinky fingers, forefinger with the middle fingers, and they're interlaced together to form basically the 4 continents. And so this is the mudra. And people like to put, so that it's not empty-handed. And so you coil around a mala. And if you have some rice grains, you can also put some rice grains before you form this. You pick up some grains of rice, you put on center of one palm, keep on a little bit on the right palm, and then you create the mandala. And so then at the end, after however number of recitations, you transfer the rice grains on the left, transfer to the right, and then you toss in the direction of the shrine. So you can do it that way. Then if you have, the mandala plates, mandala bases, so first we have to create the accomplishment mandala, which represents the objects of refuge, the objects of offering, to whom we are offering this mandala. So the mandala, accomplishment mandala, is a mandala of 5 heaps. And so first you have to wet your grains so that they are not running free. So wet your grains with saffron. And now on page 10. So these grains, and the mandala base, everything, in fact, related to mandala offering, do the best you can, really. You have to remember, like this symbolizes everything that is most precious, most wonderful in the universe. But if you do this with a miserly mind, with a stingy mind, then maybe not much result, So try your best, yeah? Don't be stingy about this offering. The rice grains, offer them, because it's not so hard to offer these rice grains. Then increase capacity bit by bit. You become less, sometimes even rice grains, we are grasping. Even rice grains, we feel like, every day I have to use new ones, you mean? So if a handful of rice grains we cannot offer, then to say, this is the whole universe, this is what I most cherish, what I most like, and I'm going to offer, will not have much effect, Yeah, so don't skim, so to say, on your mandala offering. Do the best you can. Even Gilbert Rinpoche said, because he did not have a proper mandala, and he had to resort to simply using, a stone that is not well formed either. As a result, after he achieved Buddhahood and gathered, went to gather all the disciples that gathered around him, he had to live in a place where the hermitage, which now is the Drigong Til monastery, but during Kyopa's time, it's a very simple, and then it's on the ledge, a very kind of sharp ledge, very flat downwards. So he said that is because his mandala offering wasn't so perfect. So this mandala offering is directly related to what kind of Buddha land, it's also explained, what kind of pure land you will achieve Buddhahood in, and then what kind of capacity to benefit beings arises from mandala. So anyway, pick up a few grains on your left hand, hold them in your palms, and then hold this accomplishment mandala. So on page 10, the words at the top says Om Vajra Bhumi Ahung, and that one is the stability of this, the ground. But before that, again, we have to clean the surface. And so you take something to sprinkle the saffron water onto the surface first, and then take a few grains on your left like this. Then chant, Om Bhadra Sato Samaya Manopalaya Bhadra Tena Patita Derema Sudokama Supokama Anuratomema Savasenema Sujamejanam Zengoro Bhagavata Katabasa Bhagavata Mahasamaya Sato. So think as that this firm foundation is set when you say Om Vajra Bhumi Ahung. So the earth is strong and stable, and that's your own mind being strong and stable. In the center, place one pile, that is Mount Meru. Internally, this corresponds to, this is not Mount Meru, this is the accomplishment mandala. I got ahead of myself. This is the Guru. The first pile is your Guru. So that firm foundation, Om Vajra Bhumi Ahung, is yourself as being firm and unmoving. So upon your mind, upon your heart, sits the Guru in the center. That's the internal aspect of this. The external aspect is the Guru appearing in space in front, and then in front of the Guru, Idam, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. But what is this mandala base? What is this great earth? Your heart, your mind, stable, unmoving. When it's stable and unmoving, the Guru can sit in the center. And then the next pile, the next heap, in front of the Guru heap, is another heap. And that's the Idam. Next heap is the heap of Buddhas, the 1,000 Buddhas of the fortunate eon, Buddhas of past, present, and future. And the next heap is Dharma, seated behind the Guru. All the 84,000 dharmas that the Buddha taught, now in the form of texts and scriptures, and particularly the Paññāparamita, the ultimate dharma, and then the heap of the noble Sangha as the fifth heap. The 8 great bodhisattvas and all other bodhisattvas, especially. So in this way, bring to mind these objects of refuge, then place in front of you. Then now the second mandala. If you don't have a second mandala, then the first mandala, instead of placing in front of you, you now sweep all the grains down towards you. And there is a mandala cloth, to hold all these grains that are flying left and right and up and down. So a big cloth, is good. If your mandala plate you can look for and you can find, there is a round symbol, and that's the wheel. If you can find that, great. If not, don't worry about it. If you can find that, that faces you for now. Later when you offer, you have to turn 180 degree clockwise and offer. So again, let's clean this mandala now. Sprinkle with saffron water. And if you're using the same mandala plate, you still do this cleaning, okay? And again, pick up a little bit of grains with your 3 fingers on your right hand. Om Bhadra Sato Samaya Manopalaya Bazata Denopatita Dedam Vasutokam Vasupokayam Nuratum Viva Savasari Maja Savakama Suchamachiram Siram Guru. Ha 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 Om Bhagavan Zavata Dangadam Bazaman Muchabajabu Mahasamaya Sato. And now is the Mount Meru. Again, even though on page 11 our text doesn't say Om Bhadra Bhumi Ahong, you can say that in your mind or say out loud Om Bhadra Bhumi Ahong and think that the foundation, Bhumi is the ground, the earth. Bhumi is the ground, the earth. And think this earth is immutable, unmoving like the Vajra. And think this is my mind, this is my heart, this is my being, this is me. Then Mount Meru, it says in the center. And what this corresponds to is our body with our spine, our body, the torso, up in there with the head is Mount Meru. So we also offer this body. And then the 4 continents are the 4 limbs, the 2 hands and the 2 legs, which corresponds to in the east is Purva Videha, or here translated as just Videha. The longer name is Purva Videha. It corresponds to the eastern continent. Then Jambudipa, the southern continent. Then in the western continent, Appara Godania. And in the northern continent called Uttarakuru, or just Kuru here. Uttarakuru. Then in between Mount Meru and the eastern continents is the sun. In between Mount Meru and the western continent is the moon. Then the center is filled to overflowing with glorious and perfect riches of gods and humans, and you can just drop more grains onto the whole. Now the offering mandala has been created. And then turn this, like I said, clockwise, turn, so that the wheel faces the objects of offering. Now verbally offer at the bottom of page 11. This ground sprinkled with scented waters and strewn with flowers, adorned with the supreme mountain, 4 continents, sun and moon, I hold in mind as a Buddha land, and offer it. May all wandering beings experience such a pure land. Continuing on. To you, sublime gurus, I offer my body, possessions, and roots of virtue as an offering. Please accept them. To you, idam deities, and you, noble 3 jewels, I offer my body, possessions, and roots of virtue as an offering. Please accept them. O Gurus, Idams, and noble 3 jewels, I pray that you generate supreme realization within me. Go back to page 11 at the bottom again, and then now add a few grains for the second recitation. This ground sprinkled with scented waters and strewn with flowers, adorned with the supreme mountain, four continents, sun and moon, I hold in mind. As a Buddha land and offer it, may all wandering beings experience such a pure land. To you, sublime gurus, I offer my body, possessions, and roots of virtue. As an offering, please accept them. To you, Idam deities, and you, noble three jewels, I offer my body, possessions, and roots of virtue. As an offering, please accept them, O Gurus, Idams, and noble three jewels. I pray that you generate supreme realization within me. Back to the bottom of page 11, again add some grains. I did not finish the correspondence, so the body with the head is Mount Meru, the four limbs is the four continents. Then sun and moon is left eye, right eye, sun and moon. This ground sprinkled with scented waters and strewn with flowers, adorned with the supreme mountain, four continents, sun and moon, I hold in mind as a Buddha land and offer it. May all wandering beings experience such a pure land. To you, sublime gurus, I offer my body, possessions, and roots of virtue. As an offering, please accept them. To you, Idam deities, and you, noble three jewels, I offer my body, possessions, and roots of virtue as an offering. Please accept them, O Gurus, Idams, and noble three jewels. I pray that you generate supreme realization within me. Then it says here, at the end of the session, dissolve the field of accumulation into yourself and rest in the profound meaning of inseparability. Before you dissolve the field of accumulation, which is the accomplishment mandala, if you have a second one, right? Then first you dissolve this offering mandala by sweeping all of its contents down and towards you. And there you think, all the blessings and the merit of this offering you now receive as you sweep down. Okay? So first, the offering mandala. Then pick up the accomplishment mandala if you have a second one. And now, as you sweep this one, think that the objects of offering, the five, the Guru, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, Guru, Idam, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, dissolve into you and become inseparable with you. And after you sweep this down and put down the mandala plates, then you stay in this meditative equipoise, stay evenly in this inseparability. So on page 13, yeah, it says, right? Then at the end of the session, dissolve the field of accumulation into yourself and rest in the profound meaning of inseparability. So after the Vajrasattva practice, the words there say appearance and emptiness, and the union of appearance and emptiness. Here, simply the word inseparability, and is the inseparability of the Buddha, Guru, and your own nature, inseparable. So these are basically, throughout all the earlier parts of the Fivefold, bit by bit we are being introduced. Bit by bit, we get used to these themes, these points about the inseparability, the union of appearance and emptiness, and the union of sound and emptiness, so on and so forth. Bit by bit, and slowly, we are being introduced to this until we get to the fourth of the Fivefold, where we then directly we will cultivate all these different understandings. So this is part of the method of this particular system of cultivating Mahamudra. So these foundational practices, these preliminaries, reflections known as the four thoughts that turn the mind, then Vajrasattva, then Mandala. It's important, that we don't think of them as practices to complete, practices to kind of complete and get out of the way, and now I can do the real fancy things. Instead, we see them as sources of nourishment. We see them as something that we go back to again and again, to ground us, to give us nourishment, to provide us clarity about what all these other practices are, are for. All these other practices are, in fact, designed to help us to more profoundly, to more deeply awaken to the truths that are expressed in the preliminaries. So often you may see, you may hear, if you read enough or you attend enough teachings from other places, other traditions, often this quote from Gyopa is very famous, where Gyopa says, while others consider the more fancy practices to be profound, I consider the preliminaries to be truly profound. But often when this is quoted, I think most people don't really understand the profundity of what Gyopa is saying. Often when this is quoted, it's almost quoted as a way for the Lama or the practitioner to express how humble they are in saying, oh, actually, I only do the preliminaries, I only do the ngondro, and also as a way to emphasize the importance of like finishing your 100,000s, and do your 100,000s because that's really important. That is really important. Actually, Gyopa's statement about the profundity of the preliminaries goes beyond that. Because why? Because the truth that we are striving to awaken to is taught at the ground level. When Buddha Shakyamuni achieved Buddhahood, The first formal teaching that he gave is known as the turning of the wheel of Dharma, whereby in that teaching he taught the Four Noble Truths. That's the foundational teachings. The essence of the foundational teachings is in the Four Noble Truths. And then expressed in these various different practices that we do as preliminaries, as foundations. Because, his audience could not fully understand, realize what he taught in this first teaching, he spent the next 45 years of his life devising different teachings to help us realize what he taught when he taught the Four Noble Truths. So that is why, Kyoba Rinpoche says, the foundational matters is what matters most. He wasn't only saying it as a way of saying, you need to have strong foundation. If you don't have strong foundation, whatever you build later is not going to last. Of course, that is true. But that is just a very common understanding of Kyoba's statement when he says, the foundations, the preliminaries are truly profound. Truly profound. He did not say truly necessary. He did not say make sure you don't forget to do that and do that well. He says truly profound. So we need to really understand more and more and more, not just intellectually, but really from the heart, more and more what he means, what he's saying when he says the foundationals, the ngondro. He's not talking about the external ngondro methods. All practices have an outside aspect, the method, pointing to an inner realization. So when he says the ngondro is truly profound, he's saying more than just you should do your refuge practice well. You should do your Vajrasattva practice well. You should do your mandala offerings well. You should do Guru Yoga well. And even before that, you should reflect well on precious human life, on impermanence and death, on the inevitability of karmic cause and effect, and on the faults of samsara. He's not just saying, do those well, because you need them as a foundation. When he says the ngondro is truly profound, he's saying something more than just the ngondro is important. He could just simply say ngondro is really important. No, don't neglect it. But his famous words aren't that. His famous words is the ngondro is truly profound. So don't ever think, like, oh, I'm done with the ngondro. You're done with the ngondro, meaning you have fully achieved Buddhahood. Because that means you have fully realized the significance of what the Buddha taught in the Four Noble Truths, the ultimate ngondro, the ultimate foundation. Then particularly the special preliminary is also part of this foundation, as in the truly profound. So another way of speaking of this truly profound is the profound teachings on bodhicitta. So in fact, bodhicitta has two aspects. Yesterday we looked at the specific training or meditating in bodhicitta in terms of aspiration bodhicitta and action bodhicitta. So page 20, yeah? Aspiration bodhicitta and action bodhicitta. Aspiration bodhicitta is the desire to achieve Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. A commitment to achieving Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Aspiration bodhicitta. Action bodhicitta, a commitment. Similarly, both are about commitments or vow. A commitment to practicing all the practices, particularly then the 6 paramitas. So action, engagement, in order to arrive at the state of Buddhahood, I have to cultivate the paramitas to achieve that state, to achieve Buddhahood. Then in the context of our manual, bodhicitta in this context, what action bodhicitta, what constitute action bodhicitta? Then it's the practices that come, that follows this, which is beginning with creation stage, followed by completion stage. And that is the next 3 of the fivefold Mahamudra. The first of the fivefold is this special preliminary, bodhicitta. The next 3, the first one is called deity yoga, then devotion, and then the natural state, Mahamudra. And so idam Mahamudra, devotion Mahamudra, and natural state Mahamudra. And if you divide these 3, or you categorize them into the 2 stages, then the first 2, idam and guru, they are what's known as creation stage. And then the natural state Mahamudra is known as completion stage. Yeah. So for the action bodhicitta, then, it's the commitment, the vow to practice the creation and completion stages as unified, united. So on page 23, therefore one should think, until I reach the heart of awakening, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue for as long as I live, and from now until this time tomorrow, I will take into my own experience, Nyamsu Lempa and Nyamlen, which is normally just translated as practice, but here more literally, take into experience, take into my own experience this great vehicle, profound path of the union of the creation and completion stages. So that is the action bodhicitta vow specific to this context. And then quoting Bodhicayavatara, it says, when we have both aspiration and action bodhicitta vows has arisen in us, the blessings is so great, the blessings are so powerful, that even when we are asleep, meaning our mind is in a neutral state, or even when the mind is a little heedless, a little distracted, merit continues to grow. Then you may say, well, I don't feel that way. Well, exactly. You don't feel that way because you're not paying close attention to. The power and the blessings are there. But if you walk around preferring a different version of what is going on, then that will be your reality. So Gilbert Rinpoche says, what is reality? Reality is the momentary, moment-to-moment embodiment of your thoughts, of your feelings, of your emotions. Gilbert Rinpoche has one statement in the Gongchik, very succinct, but very directly telling us what you call reality, your life. What is it? What it is in every moment, whatever you're experiencing, whatever you are feeling, whatever you're seeing, smelling, they are the momentary embodiment of your state of mind, of the quality of your mind. So is it blessings or is it misfortune? Depends on your mind. Depends on your heart. If you are mindful of how, through the power of you having the bodhicitta vows, both aspiration and action, if you keep that mindfulness with you, then that's the quality of the mind. Then what manifests, what you experience, corresponds with that. And that is about karmic causality. So that's about karmic causality. That's the foundational matter we are talking about here. But if the mind is habitually fixating on suffering, then the reality of suffering manifests. But if the mind is tied to, if the mind is experiencing the Buddha qualities, then the reality of Buddhahood is what manifests. Gyoba Rinpoche, one time he said, when I was young, living in eastern Tibet, which is where he was born and raised, he said, I remember now one time hearing my mother giving some words of advice to a neighbor who had lost her husband. He said, my mother said to the neighbor, look, if you continue to not let him go, if you continue to occupy yourself with him in your mind, then your suffering will not stop. Yes, very simple words, But Gyoba Rinpoche, many years later, said, he said, I cannot think of a more powerful pith instruction, including what my teacher Pamodrupa has said to me, which he holds in supreme regard, the words of his teacher. He said, but now come to think of it, there is no more profound pith instruction that I have ever heard in my life than those words that my mother said to this neighbor. Plain, simple words, but it's the truth. Then I know some of us, maybe all of us, will say, well, easier said than done. That is my most... It annoys me to hear people say that. So I'm still easily annoyed. It annoys me because I think that statement is just nonsense, as in useless. Someone's giving you medicine, instead of taking the medicine, you say, well, it's not so easy to take this medicine. Okay, then get lost. Then don't. Either take the medicine or don't take the medicine. Don't like, then you'll never go anywhere. Yes, of course it is easier said than done. Now, start getting it done. Precisely because it takes effort. Now start getting it done. And it will not be done in 1 second. But sometimes it can be done in 1 second, but to get to that second can be so challenging. Why we fixate? Why we are stubborn? We stubbornly don't want to give up samsara. So the first noble truth is to see suffering. We stubbornly don't want to see suffering. We only complain about experiencing suffering, but we don't want to see suffering as it is. If we see suffering as it is, if we clearly see suffering as it is, there's only one response to suffering: abandon suffering. But we don't. So we distract ourselves. We do this, we do that, in hopes of ignoring the noble truth of suffering. As long as we don't recognize the noble truth of suffering, at least a little bit, beyond intellectual, really from the heart, see the truth of the first noble truth. See it clearly. Once we see it clearly, second noble truth, third noble truth, fourth noble truth, it becomes almost effortless. Second noble truth is the noble truth of the causation of suffering and the need to let go of that causation, to relinquish the cause of suffering. Then to experience the truth of cessation of suffering, to feel how light it is, how liberating it is when we relinquish the cause of suffering. And having tasted a little bit of that freedom, we gain conviction to now develop the path, the process, to go through the process of becoming free from suffering. The Four Noble Truths. So briefly, as the preparation for the next section, which is the section on idam. Again, like I said, if you have not received the Jakasambhara empowerment, please go try to take it. It's always try to take it. Even going to an actual in-person empowerment, real-time in-person empowerment, it still requires effort to try to take. So try to take this empowerment to whatever degree you can. Don't try too hard, as in don't have so many expectations. Oh, I didn't really get much out of it, all of that. Devotion. Like even if you are sincere in taking it, then you will receive whatever you are capable of receiving. And that is enough of a requirement for practicing idam creation stage. If you don't have the right motivation, you don't have the right attitude, even if you have studied everything, you have memorized all the symbolism, you have received every object put on your head, put on your heart, put on your wherever, blindfold, everything, you are there, then the real requirement you need you may not have. So please try to do that. Then we will soon start this main practice, the idam, of cultivating yourself as the idam deity. That's the first part of this creation stage. The second part is cultivating the guru. So this starts on page 25, the main practice. It says the main practice has two parts, the creation stage and the completion stage. As for creation stage, there are also two parts, which is cultivating the idam deity and cultivating the guru. So we will start with this famous verse, stanza from Gyuba Rinpoche's Fivefold Mahamudra song. So we will look at this tomorrow. So now, please turn to the dedication text, and we will do dedication. Page 31 or thereabouts, depending on which version of this PDF you have, beginning with by the virtues collected. By the virtues collected in the 3 times by me and the entirety of samsara and nirvana, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain the unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Bodhi. By the blessings of the truth of the Kagyu Gurus, the excellent 3 Idams, Dakinis, and Dharmapalas, may the spiritual and temporal places of the tradition of the second Nagarjuna flourish. Whatever harmful discord and faults may arise, may they be pacified, and may there be abundant prosperity and happiness. May the teachings of the great Trigungparana Shri, the all-knowing Dharma Lord, Master of interdependence, continue to increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation, until the end of samsara, by the power of the virtues collected in accordance with the teachings of the pure realizations of the unmistaken teacher. May the teachings of Ratnashri of Drigung, the protector of the 10 bhumis, flourish perpetually. Changchu Semcho Rinpoche Magye Banam Ge Gyurje Ge Banyam Ba Me Bayam One Gong Du Belwar Show. This is the Bodhicitta dedication, which you can find on page 27. It says, Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn, may it arise, where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. Beautiful prayer in its original Tibetan especially. And so I like to chant this in Tibetan. So you try to memorize this in Tibetan as well. And it's really full of blessings. So we are done today, and see all of you tomorrow. You all have a good day. If you have time today, do some of this again.
Gracias, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Gracias, Dr. Lai.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Gracias.
Gracias, Rinpoche.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Muchas gracias.
Yeah.